America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Redland.
Yes.
Myers. Showalter.
Yes.
Thompson.
Okay, moving on down, the ordinances and resolutions. A, 1779.
She's wearing a coat. Okay, we should be short again this year, hopefully. There was just one change on December 31st at 11:59 p.m. Section 201.1 will be replaced by Section 201.2. Basically, it allows drivers who have been suspended or failed to comply by the courts to have ways that they can get their driving privileges back. Some of those ways is the state apparently is going to go in after 5 years and just delete the suspensions. And that's all I've got.
Roll, please. Yes. 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 Okay, we'll move on to Ordinance 1780, which is adopting the 2024 Uniform Public Offense Code.
Okay, there was just a few changes to the UPOCs. Sections 9.9.1, 9.9.2, and 9.9.4 have to do with either marijuana, drug paraphernalia, or controlled substances. And in the past, we have opted to not adopt those ordinances, preferring instead to send those charges to the district court. So those were easy. On the disorderly conduct, they deleted in subsection or section A, subsection C, or engaging in noisy conduct tending reasonably to arouse, alarm, anger in others. So it just makes it shorter. I think there was a Supreme Court case, maybe Kansas Supreme Court case on this. Is why this changed.
Okay. Somebody have any questions, comments, or concerns?
I move that we approve ordinance 1780 adopting the 2024 Uniform Public Offense Code.
Have a motion by Commissioner Howard. Second by Commissioner Showalter. Any further discussion? Roll, please.
Howard.
Yes.
Redland.
Yes.
Showalter.
Yes.
Myers. Thompson.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay, moving on to Resolution 1641 regarding unfit structure at 1526 Caldwell.
This resolution is just to give them a time period that says if it's not completed and abated by that time, we can put the request for bids out.
And this is for the actual structure.
Correct.
It's not cleanup, this is for the actual structure. 1526 Caldwell.
Okay, and this would give them a period of 30 days to address the property. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? on this resolution?
I'll make the motion that we approve resolution 1641.
A motion by Commissioner Redland,
Second.
second by Commissioner Howard. Any further discussion? Roll, please.
Showalter,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Redland,
Yes.
Myers, Thompson.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Okay, moving on to formal actions. We have A, change order number 3 regarding the runway reconstruct project 523. Kent?
This is a change order requested basically because of the additional items required by the FAA Tech Ops during construction. There's 2 items listed there, but it's basically connecting from the old Pappy location to the new Pappy location. And I don't remember what Pappy stands for, but instrument, in order to allow instrument landing. But it is actually a little bit of money to take care of it. I mean, it isn't just a few $100s. It's a little bit more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Has Darren made it into our?
Looks like he has, yeah. Okay, he's there. Yes.
Darren, are you there? If you are there, we cannot hear you.
Precision Approach Path Indicator is what PAPI stands for. Thank you, Commissioner Redmond.
Darren, you there yet? I don't know if you can hear us, but we can't hear you.
I get the indicator that it's mine, so he's taking on, but
There you are. We can see you now.
He can hear us, it looks like.
We can see you, but we can't hear you. Yeah, I don't. Still not sure. So we can see you, but we still can't hear you.
Read his lips.
I can call you, Darren.
Nope.
Nope.
Want us to just call you on the phone? Yeah. Just trying to.
sorry about that. I'm not sure. The testing was working.
That's all right.
Hey, Darren.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, sweet. Sorry about that. I don't know what was going on there.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
But the little bar was bouncing like I was going through the system, but it just obviously wasn't getting out into you guys. So, okay, so like Kent said, we got 2 change orders that addressed previous issues with just this Pappy relocation issue. Tech Ops during construction they were out here and we were starting construction in May. And they found some stuff that during their design reviews of our first change order, that their internal guys, the designers that we were working with in Kansas City, the field guys caught and said, hey, no, this won't work. So we said, okay, let's get everything else that you say isn't going to work, and we wrap that into this change order number 3. So we're hoping that finally takes care of it. This change order 3, we have to add some more days to. We're going to add 14 more days to the contract. For the contractor, until this change order is approved by you guys, the contractor doing the work, which is electricians, will not order the parts. And then once we have all the parts in, TechOps said it would take them 60 days to reschedule their inspector. They have to have an inspector out on site when the work is being done, so we have to coordinate that. So this particular change order, the biggest part of it is we had to connect the old Pappy site to the new Pappy site, and we had that included. But now they came back and said, no, you got to protect that power run with a grounding system that fits the grounding system around the Pappy, and not the grounding system we use on other lighting nav aids on the airport. So we had to upgrade, and so it's a bunch of very large grounding cable buried in the ground and a bunch of ground rods. I think we had to put 9 of them in as part of this. So it's the labor to do it, the CAD welds, the grounding rods, the wire. All of that is the vast majority of this change order.
Okay. And this change order, this still falls under the same dollar split.
So what the FAA said is, if you remember on the original project, everything we've done to date on this job has been at 100% FAA cost.
Mm-hmm.
We in the city had nothing. If there's that pot of money still available, because the FAA can't process this change order until the contract is closed out. So if it's not available, then this specific change order, or maybe back to change order 2 even, would actually fall into a 90-10 split. So worst case scenario, it would be 10% on the city. If there's still this pot of money available, then it'll be 0% city.
Okay, so worst case scenario on this one, it looks like the
It'd be $3,100 and something.
yeah, because the total is $31,782. It looks like.
Right. So 10% at $3,172, something like that.
Okay. Is my next question, and it's kind of rhetorical, I guess, but is this project ever going to get finished? I feel like this is a never-ending project.
We hope. It all depends on when they come back out. The problem with the TechOps guys is that, like all of this stuff, they didn't even identify until the last day that the contractor was working. And they said, oh, by the way, you need to put this grounding system in on top here. And we said, well, your own design engineer approved it this other way. And they said, well, that's not the way we do it. We do it this other way. Well, but they didn't tell us that till the end. If they had told us that at day 1 when they arrived, during this 45 days of construction, we probably could have had all the parts there and got it done while they were here last time.
Yeah.
So part of my answer to you is it depends if they identify something during this next 14 days that they haven't told us about yet, then it might be another delay. As long as they don't do that, this 14 days will wrap this project up.
Well, we'll hope for that.
Yes.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, we are too. So is the contractor.
Okay. Well, does anybody have any questions regarding this change order, change order 3? So the total.
I don't have any questions, but I probably share your frustrations in the fact that I feel like since this has taken so long that now it's potentially could cost us money where before it was covered. So I certainly share your sentiment in hoping this gets taken care of sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree. And the right now there's still that pot of money there. So if we can get it wrapped up quick, it should all be covered at 100%.
Okay. Anybody have anything else?
I make a motion to approve change order number 3.
I'll second.
Okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Showalter, a second by Commissioner Redlin. Any other further discussion? Roll, please.
Howard,
Yes.
Redlin,
Yes.
Myers, Showalter,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes. Okay, and then we will move on to the next item, which is an amendment to the engineering contract for this project. Darren?
Okay, so what we did on this one is all 3 of these change orders are well TechOps driven. With change order number 1, we added 14 days to the contract. Change order 2 was 45 days. And now this change order 3 is another 14. So we are requesting those equivalencies in time on our part had not planned on setting out there during this construction. We felt like if we went and checked on it an hour here, an hour there, it was going to be fine. When Tech Ops arrived on site back in May to start this, they said, no, you will have to be sitting out here the entire time the contractor's working. Because Tech Ops said, we as EBH are the contracted entity watching for the city, and Tech Ops has no right to talk directly to the contractor. So they had to have us sitting on site the entire time as a liaison. When they found something wrong or found something done different, to talk to the contractors, they'll be able to talk to them directly. Because they said their contract is not with the contractor, their contract with Tech Ops is with the city. So therefore, we had to have somebody sitting out there the entire time that was going on, and will this next 14 days, which is also part of this amendment. So had we been able to do it the other way, I wouldn't have needed to ask for any of the second time. But because Tech Ops said, nope, you have to have somebody here, I had to put somebody out there full time doing nothing but watching the contractor pull wires and install conduit. It was absolutely asinine, but that was their rules. So once again, they didn't tell us that before they got here.
Yeah, that's frustrating. And that's frustrating for you guys, and that's also now frustrating for us.
Right, because we had to scramble. We got lucky. Andrew put some time, and I came up for a couple weeks. We just had a little bit of holes in our schedule, so we could split time and do it, because otherwise we didn't have anybody even available to do it from our side. We hadn't planned on it.
So this isn't something that the FAA or Tech Ops or whoever kind of has in their general guidelines or their expectations that should have been caught beforehand, before they came out?
Once again, when we discussed it with their non-field personnel, their designer side, their project manager side, on the Tech Ops side, we asked about the timing of it, and they said their inspectors would come out and monitor the contractor. Well, they used the word monitor. They didn't use the word observe, oversee. They used monitor. And when they hit the ground, the guys that hit the ground out here said, yeah, we're going to monitor. We're going to watch them do their work, and when something's wrong, we're going to tell you to tell them to change it.
And this will, financially, this will fall under the same as last change order, where the hopes is that it will still be 100% covered. It's possible that it could be 90.
Worst case would be 10%.
Yeah. I mean, in the scheme of things, we're still sitting very well off, I think, as far as the project goes and our possible financial commitment, because there's still plenty of money in the airport fund to cover this cost if it does indeed end up falling on us. I don't think that's necessarily an hardship.
The last thing that we haven't done yet, because we typically don't do this until everything is physically done, there will be one final change order for the whole entire overall contract, where we adjust all, we're back to the concrete and everything line items, and we're still slightly under budget on that very original contract. I don't know if it's probably enough to cover that $30,000 or $31,000 change order. It probably is not enough to cover both the 30 and the 50. So when it comes down to it, when the FAA, and not the Tech Ops side, from the regular airport side, who we normally work with on these projects, when they go back and look at these pots to see, they're not going to have to go find a huge pot of money to make up this difference.
Yeah.
It'll be a smaller pot of money. So that's why there's hope that there's still going to be plenty there.
Okay.
We just have to beat other airports to it. That's the key.
Yeah.
Yes, the sooner we can wrap it up, the sooner we can get it turned in and apply for it and be done.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have any other questions or comments for Darren here? So the amount they're asking for in the amendment is an additional $50,240 is what the amount would be for the additional days on this amendment.
And once again, that is an hourly not to exceed, so it goes by our direct, hours worth.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that
time is of the essence, then I move that we approve the change order, the amendment number 2 to runway 523 for the engineering contract extension not to exceed $50,240.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Showalter,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Redlin. Any further discussion? Roll, please.
Redlin,
Yes.
Showalter,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Myers, Thompson.
Yes. All right. Thanks for calling in and dealing with us.
Okay, I got one more thing for you, just to let you know, it's an FYI.
Okay.
They started the airport apron and runway seal and paint project. They just started that last Friday. They're working on the apron right now, and we will be taking down the main runway starting next Wednesday for them to accomplish that sealing and painting out on the main runway. So, if you hear talking about that crossword runway, the new one will always be open. We do not have to work at the intersection of the two runways. So we'll just have the main down here for a couple weeks while they do all that seal. But we had enough money in that project, we were replacing every lineal foot of steel on the main runway. So that should buy us a lifetime until the concrete starts wearing out, which at this point we're just approaching 50 years on that concrete. So we've done really well so far.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad they finally got a chance to get in here and start that project. So.
Just want to let you know that. So.
All right.
Thanks, Darren.
Thank you, Darren.
Thank you very much.
Have a good, have a good evening.
You too.
Bye. Okay. Okay, next item on C is pay estimate number 1 for the Vigilant Industrial Park improvements. Kent?
Andrew is here as well. They've started the industrial park project. This is the first monthly invoice. It does include the stored material. That's a good chunk of the project. The project itself is $1.598 million. And this invoice is for $254,000 worth of that. And they have completed the first sewer main installed at this point. And they're starting on a couple of the things at this point to try to start working on the street. But Andrew, I don't know if you wanted to add anything.
Yeah, no, I'm just giving a big feedback on that. And
Yep.
if you guys are bored here in about 90 days and want to go out to the airport, sit there with me and watch. Yeah, more than welcome. Yeah, like Kent said, they got the south portion of the sewer lines completed. The manholes are installed, and actually, there's a really neat view that I never noticed. As you're coming over the overpass, and you look to the northwest, you can kind of see the project as it's being built. So
yeah.
But my stakers are here today. They're going to start on the street portion tomorrow. Start on the dirt work and base work there. And then basically what they'll do is they'll complete there by the, I don't know all I know to call it's the sunflower plant. Right there, they'll complete that corner and go clear to the west, stop there, and then jump over and do the north side of the project. So the city got in there, the water department got in there fast, and got 2/3 of the water line put in at this point. So they're out of the way whenever they switch, and so we'll flip-flop once they get the road done. Water department can jump back down to the south portion while they're doing the north portion on the street. So, yeah, it's knock on wood, going okay so far. I thought we had an issue when the first day we started, and actually ended up being a bonus. So, saved some money on a manhole we didn't know was there.
Yeah.
So, we can always blame that back on Rich, right? So, but no, it's it's going well. And like I said, they've completed the sewer line. From here, there's a manhole here, and clear down to here. They've installed the sewer line, and then the water department has completed the water line from here up around here and actually stopped just right here, shorter right here, because we have quite a bit of dirt work we have to do in here. So they'll complete this portion of the road from here to here. They'll stop here, and then they'll jump up on the north end and we've actually got a sewer line that'll tie into that manhole, come across all the way down here and then end right here on the other side of this lot line. So they'll do that north portion, and the city can jump down and do their final tie in there.
Very nice.
But yeah, Miller and Everly Construction, yeah, it's been working pretty well, and yeah, it's been good to work with so far. So
good.
Yeah.
We have any questions? All right. Thank you for the update.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks.
So, with that, so we need to have a. So we're gonna have to approve these monthly. Is that how this project's gonna go?
Thought you would, that would be permissible by the commission to go ahead and take care of these
Sure.
larger projects.
Yeah, that's fine. I just didn't know if that was gonna kind of be the game plan. Once a month, we just have a monthly.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the estimate we have here today is for $254,333.94. I will make a motion to approve that pay estimate for the Goodland Industrial Park.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Showalter. Any further discussion? Roll, please.
Showalter,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Bradley,
Yes.
Myers, Thompson.
Yes. Okay, last item under formal actions is purchase some poles for the electric department.
And I will defer to Director of Public Power, Dustin Bedore. He called 3 different companies. He got a little quote from one of them, and they need some more poles.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I actually was pretty pleased with one of the quotes until they told me that they thought they were bidding Goodland, Indiana. And so then they added another $2,600 on for freight, which took them out. So I contacted Bridgewell, Coppers, and Thomason, which we've dealt with. Haven't dealt with Coppers, but they bought out Brown Wood, which we've dealt with them before. So poles are what they are right now. Used to, I know you've heard this before, but 40-foot pole was $400 a few years ago. Now it's close to $700. So.
Yeah, and this is just a replenish your supply, basically.
Yeah,
We're getting
so
low on supply, so we need to.
We've replaced several poles, most of them 35 footers, some 40 and 45 footers. I've got a lot of 45 footers in because of the project we were going to start out on the South Loop, so we're good there. But our 35 footers, or I think we might have 2 40 footers in stock. So definitely need to order. So I don't want to cut a 40 footer or 45 footer down to a 40 footer because he weighs $200.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions?
Pretty straightforward. I would motion that we accept the low bid from Bridgewell Resources in the amount of $42,856 for new poles for the electric department.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Showalter. Second. Second by Commissioner Howard. Any further discussion? Roll, please.
Bradley,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Myers, Showalter,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay, moving on to discussion items, starting with building official report, specifically regarding the Grant Historical Residences.
I showed everyone pictures last meeting. I sent them a letter and a notice stating they were to repair it. I have not heard from the parent company or the property manager. I went back today to see if maybe they started working and nothing's been done. So the next meeting will come up to the time date that I gave them that they needed to have the repairs going. These are from today. There's actual black mold starting to grow from up in the ceiling out. So I know it's all up in the rafters and everything. The buckets aren't catching water either.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the tarp's for.
Yeah. It made me laugh because there's a puddle of water on the floor and nothing in the buckets. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys an update. So the next meeting, if they still haven't done anything, then we'll start moving forward with the process.
Okay, I mean, it's unfortunate. I don't understand why they seem to be so difficult to get a hold of and get a response out of. I don't understand that on their end, but I guess, yeah, we'll see how things look come next meeting.
Zach, I had a quick question. Is the building manager, is that somebody local here that you're dealing with, or is that somebody out offsite?
She's only in the office on Tuesdays and Thursdays from a set period of time. Otherwise, she's over in Colby.
Okay. And who's the parent company that owns those?
Grant Historic Residences, LLC. Their address, I want to say, was Topeka.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Zach. Okay. Next item on the discussion is low-income rates for utilities. I had asked him to put this on here, actually. Just one thing I've been thinking about, as we've discussed kind of throughout this spring and through the budget season, that we'll probably be looking at more than likely raising utility rates later on in the year, and how that affects some of our lower income individuals in the community. We do have, and he printed it or copied it and put it in the agenda, a local ordinance regarding low income households and possible discounted rates. I don't know if we want to take a look at that and see if we want to maybe adjust that. It has, the way it's written, it has set dollar amount of a household income of $18,000 or less to qualify for the discounted rates. I think that may have been okay the year that it was done, but $18,000 is pretty low, a pretty low threshold, I think, to have somebody qualify for if the discounted utility is something we want to keep working with. I personally think a better metric would be using like federal annual poverty guidelines. That's a adjustable rate depending on how many people are in the household. It can either be specifically at like the poverty line. I did print off some papers just for you guys to look at. Kind of a standard for a lot of places to use when they're using the poverty guidelines is kind of 130% of the poverty line. And I kind of highlighted that there. So for like a one-person household, it'd be $19,500 annually. Two-person household is $26,500 annually, and then it slowly goes up kind of the larger the household is. So between that and what the actual discounted rates are, the energy rate is a set kilowatt hour, dollar per kilowatt hour, and the water is a percentage. I don't know if there's a way to maybe make that a little more even, like this, a percentage of electric and water as a whole, or if we want to do that. So basically, I'm just looking at, is this something that you think you guys want to discuss and maybe look at and adjust? Or is this something you guys don't even want to bother with?
I think it's definitely something that we need to look at. I would say, too, that I think it might be surprising to a lot of us how many people would fall within the boundaries of these numbers, but I would be in support of trying to clear this up and find something that makes sense for us.
Yeah, I agree. Is there anybody that uses it?
We have about 13 people. I will tell you that the last time this was discussed, they did look at the poverty level, and Jason is 100% correct. And that's gonna, if you go that route, that's gonna put a lot of people in that. So it's gonna, require some modifications to everything. So
yeah, it's one part of a larger discussion, for the whole year, I think.
It is, but we did discuss it on that section.
Yeah, and I think it would need to be like you did, like the poverty it would need to be tied to like whatever the previous year's poverty level is, so it adjusts accordingly over time and not just be a set amount that's good for today and maybe not necessarily good 5-10 years from now. My thoughts anyway, but I mean, we can, if, as we just, seems like we kind of want to discuss this further, we can kind of figure out the harder details about how things really work and then how to make it happen as we do that, I think. But so you guys want to bring this back up for a little deeper discussion, maybe next meeting, give you guys a couple weeks to look things over and kind of come up with ideas and
Be open to the discussion.
yeah.
Mary, do you remember last time this was looked at?
I don't remember. I think since I've been here, we maybe adjusted it twice. And the first time it took a long time to get it to move up. I think it was like 9,500. I mean, it was really sad.
Yeah.
But.
If you did like low to moderate income or anything like that, it's something like 40%.
Yeah, the whole.
CDBG.
Yeah, on the west side of town, we fall in the LMI.
Yeah.
This last
Yeah, it really
ordinance
is.
was passed in 2015. So that's when the last time the rates have changed. Now, I don't know if it's been discussed since 2015.
It has not. It was discussed just shortly before the 15th because we had it at one rate. I can't remember that rate, but then we moved it into 15. But it hasn't been discussed since then.
I think it's an important thing to look at. I think for people like us who sit on this side of the table, we have to remember that not everybody gets to live like us. So paying attention to how we treat everybody here is important. So it'd be a good thing to look at.
Awesome. Thank you guys for considering that. And the next thing I kind of wanted to touch on was utility incentives for new businesses. I know this is something, it kind of fell off right when I think JJ and I kind of came on the commission, and it hasn't really been discussed since. I do know there was a separate group kind of tied to SCCD, and I believe Brooke, were you on part of that group? That's kind of looking at larger incentives as a whole.
For housing, we were just housing.
Was it just housing?
I was just on housing.
Okay.
I think we discussed that.
Yeah, I think it's just
Was it just housing? I can remember for sure. But I think that's something else that we should look at again and discuss again to see if we can't come up with some sort of incentives for new businesses again. I know I think over the past 20 years, I think you tried a couple different ways. Maybe some ways work better than others regarding utilities, and maybe that would be good insight if you guys, Mary and whoever else who has some good insight on what worked and what didn't work in the past, to kind of help guide us with ideas moving forward. But I think that's another thing that we should discuss and try to come up with a plan there, if you guys are in agreement.
Definitely something else I think is worth a conversation. I can't remember exactly what the Barb with Community Matters had said, but she had given us a couple of ideas for ways to kind of form a discussion around incentives that really made sense. And it wasn't about, giving people free money that we then would never see back, but and I can't for the life of me now remember exactly how she framed the conversation. So I'd be interested in maybe going back and looking at some of those minutes, but she had some good ideas for how to tie that to, really making sure the businesses were able to thrive, but then not having, just a way for us to make sure we don't have our investment. So, but yeah, something worthy to talk about.
Yeah, it was worth a discussion.
Okay, so I want to bring that one back next meeting too for a little more thorough discussion. Yeah, I just kind of want to put these thoughts in your guys' brains so you kind of have some time to think about it before we really discuss them. If you guys are on board with that, that's great as well. Any other discussion items anybody wants to bring up this evening? Okay, let's move on to reports then, starting with our city manager, Kent.
Thank you, Mayor. Included in the packet is a manager memo as well as the month-end fund balance report for July. We also wanted to give a couple reminders. Reminder that before next meeting, so a week from Friday, is the community barbecue as well as the last concert in the park for the summer. We will have it out at Stever Park, and the timing will be very similar to last year's. So we will have staff assist, or provide the majority of the assistance, but any commissions that show up, we'd be happy to have you there. And also invite the public to enjoy concert in the park as well as the meal. So we will have that. The industrial park project we went through already as far as the next items. We also received some good news. The recreational trail funding through the Department of Wildlife and Parks, correct? Actually have selected the Topside Trail Lighting Improvements Project for an award. It's $145,000 and change. There is still a couple more things that they need to go through. They need to go through the State Historical Office as well as Environmental Review, get their comments from the state agencies before the project can proceed. So it may be a little bit of time before it can proceed. One of the best things about it is that the voluntary labor provided by the carpentry and electrical departments of the college, I think really saw the city working together with the college as well as city staff going to work with their electrical department to get that installed when it happens. So I really don't know regarding the timing. Sometimes State Historical Office and Environmental Review takes 2 months. Sometimes it's 6 months, maybe longer. So we shall see. But hopefully by next summer, we will have that project either on the way or hopefully finished so that the trail can be enjoyed for a time in the evening after the sun goes down. So, and the lighting will be both in the college property as well as city's property in Stever Park. So it'll be on both sides.
Yeah, it really is exciting that they were awarded this grant for that project. And that really is a big deal. That's a big grant. So
I probably talked too much, Andrew. Did you want to say anything else?
I think you hit on all the points I was trying to steer the way but no, it's great. It's a zero cost, realistically, project wise to the city. Like you said, with the combination of the carpentry department, electrical department at the college, using that as volunteer labor match, I think it's really what kind of pushed the project over the edge. And so, as the Topside Trail Committee president, we'll make sure we work obviously with Kent and Danny and Dustin to make sure we get everything spacing wise. We'll get all that worked out and make sure that we make future improvements, things like that. We're not going to hurt anything there. So, but yeah, everything that was paved with the trail project is going to get a light around it. So, which be good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's all I have.
Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments for our city managers? All right. Thank you, Ken. Okay, moving on to commissioner reports. Start down here on my left with Commissioner Redlin.
Nothing to report.
Commissioner Howard.
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Showalter.
I'll thank Neil and his group that's been out there working on the industrial projects, and really everybody that's been out there working in the heat and just terrible weather in the last few weeks. So thank you.
Okay, for the mayor's report, I have nothing more to add. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion by Commissioner Redlin,
Second.
second by Commissioner Showalter. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.